Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're continuing on today with the series that is discussing potentially who the next Celtic manager will be. Probably one of the last ones in this series. I think there's only ever one other manager that I've not covered that we'll probably do a video on. So maybe not the last one. It all depends if I feel like there's actual worth in doing that video, because we're getting closer to the time now where the manager should be more set in stone. We're seeing odds getting slashed. And talking about odds slashed, today the person we're going to talk about, as you can see in the title, is Andre Villas-Boas, the Portuguese manager who has now been heavily linked with the Celtic job. And is there a severe possibility of him coming to the club? Well, we're going to discuss over in this video. So, as time has kind of went on recently, I think a lot of fans have now swayed towards the side of we can't have Neil Lennon as boss. The football on the pitch recently hasn't been fantastic. It's not been great at any point, really, since Neil Lennon's came in, and it's been hard for him. Coming in and taking over from such a fantastic side, a team with a lot of high expectations to live up to, and with a lot of injuries in that team as well. There's a lot of gratitude that does have to go towards Neil Lennon for coming in and helping steady the ship in these last few months and getting that 8 in a row secured. There's still a lot to do. Neil Lennon could still get a job. He could still go on and win a treble, but there's a big game to go this weekend, yet to be spoken about on the channel, that might determine whether or not he gets a job next season. That's if we can get back past Aberdeen at Hampden this Sunday. But today, we're here to talk about Andre Villas-Boas, a name who hasn't been in English football now, British football, not just English, British football for quite a while, but a manager with quite a big name, a manager who has been floating about past times, and now a lot of Celtic fans taking to the idea of him coming to Celtic to become manager. He's not really got any major accomplishments to his name. He's not like you look at Roberto Martinez, who has an FA Cup, Neil Lennon, who has all these accomplishments at Celtic. There's managers, and you look at Marco Rose, who's done so well in the Europa League with a smaller side and won the Austrian Bundesliga and such. Andre Villas-Boas probably comes with a little less of that prestige that the managers have, but yet, nonetheless, he's a big name. He has managed some big clubs, and he's done well at those clubs as well. It's not like he's been an absolute flop of a manager. Yes, there are probably better options in the world of football for clubs that you could look at a lot bigger than Celtic in modern football. If he was to go back to Spurs, a lot of Spurs fans would be looking at it like, why the hell are we appointing Andre Villas-Boas? But he's only 41. He is 41 years of age. He has managed Zenit St. Petersburg. Keep in mind, I'm sure he was manager when they papped us out the Europa League. Zenit St. Petersburg, Spurs, Tottenham, Chelsea, Porto. These are all massive sides. And he's only 41. These are the clubs he has managed. Right now, or most recently, should I say, he was managing in China, where he took charge of about 50 games or such. Which isn't obviously the greatest place to take your trade and not the best place to make a name for yourself. It's now, as a place you kind of go and you look, it's just a kind of money grabbing place. And for him, that was probably a downward step in his career, considering, he's been going from all these big sides, Porto, Chelsea, Spurs, Zenit, to China. It's quite a bizarre move, but sometimes money just talks. Now, that's going to be a massive factor in whether or not people want to see him come to Celtic. Is it going to be kind of a stepping stone for him until he can go and get more money again? I think a lot of people are still really hurt, you could say, about Brendan Rodgers doing the kind of same thing at Celtic, going to Leicester for the big money move and advancing his career there. I mean, if he comes to Celtic and the money comes calling for again, he's not going to be here very long, let's be honest about that. But we're looking at a manager here who's experienced at such a young age and could bring something fresh to the club. I think the main attraction for me about this opportunity to have Andre Villas-Boas in charge is it's something completely different. Absolutely different. Oh shit almighty, I nearly fucking dropped something there. But it's something so different. I'm not going to see anything remotely similar as to what we've seen with Brendan Rodgers, Neil Lennon, Ronnie Dyler. It'll be a completely new experience for Celtic as a manager with that kind of, foreign flair, you could say. He's from Portugal. Football is a lot different in Portugal than what it is to the whole of Britain. Everywhere he's managed, as of recent, China and Russia, very different as well. You're going to be offered something different with Andre Villas-Boas in charge. You're going to be, looking at a lot of attacking football, I imagine, which is great. I think he could help, and this is the main thing that you've got to think of. Now, if we go with Neil Lennon as the permanent boss of Celtic, my main worry was always going to be the attraction of players to the club. I didn't think it was going to be good. I think it's going to be hard. Yes, we've spoken about it. I'm not going to go over it again. Neil Lennon's recruitment isn't exactly terrible. He gave us Van Dijk, he gave us Wanyama. But if we want to bring in big players who are going to help us right now in the European stage and such, we need a name like Andre Villas-Boas, and he's already worked with big players. Think of the players that he's worked at Chelsea and Spurs alone when he was manager there around 2012 and such. Think of the players he got to work with at those two clubs. And the name he built up for himself, managing top 4 sides in England, really does help the fact that we could bring in some bigger names to Celtic. That is the main attraction for me, along with that different style of football that we're going to see, obviously, if we bring him in, that would make Andre Villas-Boas one of the top choices. Now, it's a mouthful. It really is a mouthful. Imagine having to say that all the time in videos. Andre Villas-Boas. It's not the same as Brendan Rodgers. But this is a guy who can honestly bring us... He's had so many matches, but at the age of 41 as manager. You know, he's ranked over 100 games at Zenit, about 100 at Tottenham, about 50 at Chelsea, 50 in China, 58 at Porto. That is mental for a 41-year-old man. Still very young, very fresh now. Always there's going to be that risk. Maybe he comes to Celtic, maybe he tries to change it up too much, and maybe ultimately we bottle everything. Maybe we bottle 10 in a row. And that would be an absolute disaster. He's not exactly the greatest manager that ever stepped foot on planet Earth. You know, he didn't really win anything with Spurs. He didn't win anything with Chelsea. He wasn't the greatest thing from sliced bread. But I think he's definitely going to offer us something unique. And maybe it's just time for that. Maybe it's something fresh that we need. That is what the team looks as though it's needing. It needs a kick up the arse. It needs that shock, that change. Because the football as of recent has been asking for some excitement. It's been asking for some flair. And we're not getting it. I think Neil Lennon is very tactically naive as a manager, whereas Andre Villas-Boas can come in and just give us a complete tactical overhaul, give the players something fresh and new to work with, and ultimately entertain the fans. I think this could be a fantastic option, and it's one that Celtic should definitely look into. Now, he's not won nothing in his career, obviously. He's won the Portuguese title, the Portuguese Cup, he's won the Russian title, he's won the Russian Cup. I'm just reading it all off. He's won the Russian Super Cup. These are still good accolades for a man who's still very raw within his managerial career. Starting off at a very young age, keep that in mind as well. I really like the idea and the thought of Villas-Boas coming to Celtic. It's something that I believe that the odds being slashed has indicated this could be a realistic possibility. And it's something that he would take, I think, to get back into management. To get back into management with a team who is arguably as big or bigger than the clubs he has managed when it comes to reputation, is not a far cry from being a realistic shout to being our next manager. It's mainly for me that attraction of unique football that really does make Villas-Boas a really good option as the next Celtic boss. I think they're going to get a lot of the pundits and a lot of the dinosaurs of Scottish media saying it'd be a terrible move. Because you look at people who come over here offering something maybe different or new that aren't necessary, and it sounds really racist putting it, but you know what I mean when I say Celtic and Rangers tend to go with kind of British options as manager. It just always seems to be the way, and we get that same kind of style of football. So I think you're going to get a lot of the Scottish media saying this is a disastrous idea for Celtic. This could change. This could cost them 10 in a row. This could be the bottle job that stops it from happening, and this could be the gateway for Rangers to step in and stop. And that could happen with anybody. That could happen with David Moyes. That could happen with Stevie Clark. That could happen with any of the options I've discussed on this channel. Marco Rose, Roberto Martinez. Ultimately, this is another one of the managers that could offer us something unique. He's on a career break right now. And I think a good way for him to get back at management is by coming to Celtic. An option who I never considered at the start of the window, but I'd happily take him. He probably wouldn't be my number one option. Marco Rose is now obviously taking the Mönchengladbach job. He's out of the running. But he's definitely up there. And if he comes to Celtic, I will welcome him with open arms. Because he's a talented man. We know that. He's a man who's had big jobs and handled big players. So I'm more than open to the idea of Villas-Boas coming to Celtic. Let me know your opinions on the rumours of Andre Villas-Boas. The odds have been slashed. Is he the next Celtic manager? Do you want him to be the next Celtic manager? Leave your opinions to my opinions in the comments. One of the kind of just rambles. I hope you have enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. And also the Scottish YouTubers charity match is on June 8th. We return for our second game, taking on the Falkirk Community Trust coaches. You can buy tickets in the description below in aid of Sam H mental health charity. It's all for a good cause. It'll be a great day. Make sure you get yourself there, and you can see me try and kick a football. That's always great. So aye, if you've enjoyed, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.